More medications, less health. Something's broken. Traditional medicine manages symptoms, but true healing addresses root cause. I'm Josh Rimini, pharmacist turned healer. At Beyond the Pills, we merge ancient wisdom with modern day science to inspire you through stories of transformation, practical trainings, and holistic healing. Join me and other practitioners as we guide you towards vibrant health, body, mind, and spirit, and move beyond symptom management into true healing. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Beyond the Pills. My name is Josh Rimini, pharmacist turned healer. And today I have with a very new friend of mine, Camille Leon. How are you doing?
I am great, Josh. So happy to be here today. Thank you.
Oh, we've had a nice little conversation before we hit the record button here. But I'm going to introduce you to everyone. I'm going to read a little bit of your bio, and then we'll get to going on a nice, beautiful chat because we got some really cool, fun, amazing things to talk about and share with the world. So Camille is a multifaceted professional dedicated to promoting holistic health and wellness. As the founder and chief visionary officer of the Holistic Chamber of Commerce, HCC, she has built a global community connecting consumers with holistic, natural, and eco-friendly products and services. My cup of tea. Under her leadership, the HCC has become a valuable resource for both consumers seeking health holistic solutions and also professionals aiming to grow their businesses in alignment with holistic principles. I love the word alignment. In addition to her work with HCC, Camille is an accomplished author and artist. Her latest book, Fresh Starts, Transformation in Action, offers insights into personal transformation and the journey towards holistic wellness. She is also an author of many other books, and since 2020, she's pursued her passion for painting, creating abstract artworks, as we can see right behind you. That's awesome. That reflect her journey and experiences. Can't wait to hear more about that. Her art is showcased on her online platform, Adventures with Camille. She's a speaker, a consultant, and addresses topics such as personal transformation, recognizing one's worth, navigating organizational change, and adapting gracefully to life and pivots. Through her diverse endeavors, Camille continues to inspire individuals and communities to embrace this holistic approach to health, business, and personal development. My favorite topics. Welcome, Camille.
Thank you. It's so good to be here. I'm like, this is going to be a juicy conversation. I'm excited.
Yes, and I think the fact that we had to pause our recording just is going to make it even better because we had such a great conversation prior to this. Tell people a little bit about what this HCC is, Holistic Chamber of Commerce.
So, it's a gateway, it's a doorway, it's a bridge. It's, like the way in for all of the people who are seeking and exploring and what is holistic, right? We have a large following of consumers, of people who are curious and ready to learn more. And then we have members who offer those specialties, those therapies, those products and services, the holistic solutions that people are now hungry for. And then just as a support system, we also have live local groups where they get started so that it's not all online. It's also that in-person component because it's great to be able to do so much online now, but we live where we live.
Yeah. And I do believe that there is, the way I look at it, there's options. And since COVID, we've got more options. And for me personally, I love the personal one-on-one connection. Even though we know energy is non-local and you can do anything in virtual, there's just something to be said about that essence. So I love that you have both. So you're a hub for people that are searching. We talked about this earlier. that the world, people are hungry for holistic solutions. And we talked about the and approach. We talked about not just going to the other side and only this way, but you said it, but I've been saying it too for years, is people are sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. And they know that the traditional medicine system is either not serving them, or they just know inherently that there's something more, right? There's something, this is the podcast, beyond the pills. Doesn't mean that pills aren't important for the right situation, but they're not always the only approach, right? So I love that you have this portal now for people to seek and to also find the guide.
Such a great word. That's such a great, I'm sorry. Like you said the word portal and I was like, oh, that's such a great word. You know, we talk about portals all the time, but I'm always talking about the member portal, right? Which is an interface. But there is the portal that is also a gateway, a doorway, a bridge.
That's what I see. Feel free to write your own notes here, right? Because
exactly.
This is how creation happens. When two people get into a room and they align, right? This is why meeting this is what you do, right? You're aligning the right person with the right guide or the right product or the right service that aligns with who they are, right? We're healthcare professionals, but we're really healers, right? I'm pharmacist turned healer. A healer is a guide, a coach, a guru, whatever you want to call them, because the patient is in the driver's seat of the healthcare, right? In their own health. They need to drive. They can't be passengers. And I feel like this is one of the main topics or issues people have is they no longer feel satisfied. Maybe that's the wrong word for now, but that's the one that's coming up for me, is satisfied with this traditional approach. And I want to preface this for the listeners, and I always do. The traditional model isn't necessarily wrong. It serves many people. However, there's many things we can do. This is why we call it integrative, right? We want to bring in different modalities to create a whole system, because treating the pinky with an ologist isn't going to help the body become whole, right? So body, mind, spirit, soul, and moving people through this healing, because we're not talking sick care here, okay? You can go to the doctor and get less sick. We're really talking about this new age of medicine, which is more in this healing approach of showing people. Now, we can always, I don't want to say the word argue, but we can attest to the fact that the body does want to heal itself. We have the innate ability to do it. And one of those reasons is, you cut your finger, it heals. The body will do it on its own. And we understand this now from a scientific level and also an ancient practice wisdom level, that the body knows how to heal. And so unlocking those in different ways is, again, I love that portal, right? It's this door that's been open for people because now they can start their journey.
Yeah, it's bringing people together, because when we connect, that's where the magic happens, It's that coming together and connecting so the magic can happen. And I love, like, you're the Beyond the Pills collective. Like, it's not saying that the pills are good or bad, but it is saying that we can go beyond all of that. And I just have to say, because you said mind, body, spirit, soul. So here's what we say at the Holistic Chamber of Commerce: mind, body, spirit, business, budget, planet.
Ooh, tell me more about that.
Oh, it's really tempting to think it's not about the money. And it's not just about the money, but money makes a difference. Let me just tell you, if you have ever met a woman or man, if you've ever met somebody in a dangerous relationship, violent relationship, and they're still there, it is sometimes emotional baggage, but sometimes it's just they can't see any way to pay for themselves and their children, without the money to do so. So we have to make room for money to be part of the healing. And frankly, there's that store called Whole Paycheck. Whole Foods. You want to eat some of those really healthy foods that are sometimes higher prices. So mind, body, spirit, we really start with, it's a personal journey, right? But we also recognize that how we are in business and how our budgets look are going to influence back on the personal journey. And as we all get healed, we're going to see planetary change. So mind, body, spirit, business, budget, planet.
Well, there's tons to expand on and unpack there, because I love how we're going, because we're on this like wavelength, because the way I look at it is it's purpose over profit, but profit's not a dirty word, because if I can do well, I can put more into research and development. I can put more into helping more people. It's not that we're putting it in our pockets. It's so we can serve better. Or from a patient side, right? It's, I always like to say, like, the number one and number two things that I put in front of my life is health and education. And when I don't say education like just going to school, it's like putting the growth piece in there. Always learning. You're learning or you're winning, and winning is learning, right? That's the book Arete. So I didn't make that up. So we have to do, it's again, we had this conversation of right? It's both. You do need a budget for health, but you also need to prioritize it among the things. So sometimes in the health coaching perspective, we talk to our patients about making healthy lifestyle decisions in place of something else. We talked about it earlier about recurring revenue in the memory of this podcast, right? It's $10 a month. It gets forgotten. Well, what things need to be pruned away in order for you to make room for this? Because sometimes people have a thought process around, well, I'm just adding this to my budget. But in reality is like, what are the things whether it's time energy or energy in the form of currency, right?
Yep.
Because money's just a form of energy, because you're exchanging it for someone's information, someone's product, someone's service. And I personally, through my own experience, have found the more I invest in myself, because we always talk about investing for the future, right? Investing for retirement or nest egg or legacy or our business. And what if we can divert some of that investing into ourselves to grow ourselves, to become more whole, to become more healthy? And yes, I'm going to have to use the whole paycheck component, because it can be expensive. You can't go in there with one bag less than $100. And at the same time, you can choose properly. You can go to these sites and talk about what are the things you should eat organic more often. What are the things you don't really need to orient? Like, I love playing with this, and I've done this before. I can feed a family of four with whole nutrition for less than $20 a day if I do it right. So, but that means knowing your farmers, going to the farmers market, shopping in the right season, like doing the things you need to do. But it becomes, I don't know about your experience, but it becomes somewhat, I don't want to say addicting, but it builds on each other. Like, you do one thing and then all of a sudden you're doing another thing, and then you're figuring this thing out. So I just say eating clean, right? Clean eating is so important, because 70% of our children's food right now is ultra processed. And Oreos are vegan. So let's be careful of how we say what we're eating, right? So talk a little bit more about, I'm curious more than anything, and maybe you can help the listeners. Where did this come from? Like, where did the holistic chamber of commerce, where did that essence, talk to us about the origin story and a little bit about where you came from, how that became something.
So,
the point, the crux, when it became a seed in my mind, I was working in downtown LA. So I was a business person. I was working in downtown LA and, fast and stressed. That was kind of the name of the day.
The hustle.
We didn't just have, this is hilarious. We didn't just have one Starbucks on one corner. There was a Starbucks on all four corners and two actually underneath our building. So if you're not stressed enough, we've got your fix. Which, by the way, I'm still a gold card holder, so I'm not better than sweet, creamy, and frothy coffee. I think it is part of the joy of life. But that was the lifestyle I was living. And my grandmother had a stroke, and my mother had a double mastectomy. And so the health writing was on the wall for me, in big, bold pictures. And so I started asking my coworkers if they knew a good acupuncturist, because I didn't want to end up on a bunch of prescriptions. So I was looking for an acupuncturist. And the responses I got were, is that covered by our insurance? And they use needles, don't they? Like, why would I do that? And if it's not covered by our insurance, then really, why would I do that? And so for me, I realized the disconnect, even in a place like Los Angeles, where we think of everybody as being so progressive, right? They were unaware of all of the other health and wellness options out there. So that became the seed for the online directory. So like when people come to our website, we have a directory that is free to search so you can find somebody near you. Well, hopefully, as long as we have a member who does that thing near you, then you can find it. And then once I started working with the concept of holistic health and wellness, and then the concept of Chamber of Commerce, because I was in business, so I was already a member of a bunch of chambers of commerce, right? That's a business thing. I kind of brought those two ideas together. So the online directory reaches out to consumers, right? So we can find those people who are ready and just looking for, how do I get started? And then we also have a network of live local groups so that we're providing a support network for holistic practitioners, professionals, and business owners. Because the busier you get seeing clients and customers and patients, the less time you have available for the business things that you don't actually want to do in the first place anyways. But you need somebody to run your website or take care of your tax prep or so, which again gets back to the mind, body, spirit, business, budget, planet, all because I couldn't find an acupuncturist in LA. Now,
I love where these ideas come from, right? Like, it's out of left field, always where the least you expect it. And I've always learned now that's exactly the way it's supposed to be.
It is. Now, if we go back further in my life, so that was like the pivot point, if you will. If we go back further in my life, when I was a child, one of my parents was very angry and didn't know how to control their anger. So that was part of my childhood. And then when I was in college, this is really funny. I really threw my doctor for a loop because I was in college and my right big toe joint was swelled up. I couldn't get my foot in my shoes. And the doctor did a blood test and said, well, turns out you have gout. I was a 20-year-old young woman. He's like, this did not make a lot of sense, but we have a pill for it. Yep. You'll have to take it for the rest of your life, and it's really hard on your liver. And I was all like, I'm young. I don't want to sign up for a prescription for the rest of my life. And so started looking for foods I can eat, nutrition that I can add to my regular diet, and things I can stop eating. As it turns out, red meat is not good for gout. Or I should say it is good. It is good for gout. It's not good if you want to avoid gout, right?
Yeah.
And eat more cherries. So once I got to that point, that pivot point, I was able to look back and see the places in my past where I was already being pulled on a personal journey and also on that physical search for more holistic ways to get and stay healthy.
I love it. Because when people are doing something in the wellness profession or the field or this, you touch on some things like the first thing people say, and I teach this to pharmacists too, is like, how do you answer the question, does my insurance pay for it? Because that's the first question we ask when we're looking for any realm of things that pertains to my own health and well-being. And one of my answers just, it's free for anybody, right? Is like, well, unfortunately, your insurance pays for you to be sick. It doesn't pay for you to be well. And just like your car insurance pays for you to crash the car and get it fixed, but it doesn't pay for the oil change or the car wash. So we have to kind of understand our system, right? There's a big hierarchy here. And I'm curious around a couple questions. One of them is, since you're in this holistic chamber of commerce, means we know people are looking for it. We know people that are willing to invest in themselves outside of, I call it the sick care model. It's not a derogatory term, but it's more true to me because we're trying to keep people less sick. The doctor, it says you have gout, here's a drug. And it's his way, like we can't blame physicians. This is the way West world is practiced, pharmacy, doctors, everyone. You treat the condition and you mask the symptom of the problem and you don't get to the root cause. But the root cause is inflammation, and one of those causes is food. So the consumer goes over to this side where we're trying, like I'm speaking to a lot of professionals now, it's putting diet lifestyle in the front of the conversation. It says, here's the list of foods you do not eat. Here's the foods you do eat. And here's the lifestyle changes that are in front of you that are your choice, but can really help this thing. So I'm glad that you brought that up. So and there's a piece here that says, because I teach pharmacists, and you come to the pharmacy for a prescription and you go to the prescription because it's been diagnosed, and you have a diagnosis because there's some imbalance of chronic or acute problems. Acute care is pretty easy to fix. We know we're good. You get hit by a truck, you go to the ER. You don't go to the shaman. You don't go to the acupuncturist, right?
Yeah.
But you go to the shaman to ask him why you got hit by the truck in the first place. So there's different ways to look at this, but acute care, you get an infection, you get an antibiotic, you can treat it, you can move through it, right? However, chronic care, I call it the prescription evolution. Pharma and big food come into the play where let's eat the stuff that tastes good, that gives us caloric density, too much, I think, not nutritional density, or puts on the right signals in the body, right? Wrong signal, right signal. And pharma says, let's mask the symptom of your problem forever, but let's not get to the root cause. So we have I don't like, people say a broken system. I just think it's an incomplete system, and it's rooted around the wrong principles. Like, if we're moving towards healing, if we're moving towards reversal of chronic conditions through lifestyle, diet, supplements, and labs, those are the places I like to play, but you've nailed some things down really clearly. Like, some people they realize that insurance doesn't pay. some of them. And that doesn't prevent them from not going, because a lot of people sit there and they're like, well, if my insurance doesn't cover it, blank. But we talked a little bit about diverting your budget towards this holistic, proactive healing space.
So first of all, some insurance does cover.
Yes, this is the place I'm playing out. This is the place I'm playing right now. How do you make wellness covered in the system we already have?
So first, you check with your insurance company. You check with your insurance provider. I'm looking for this. Is this covered? So I'll just, like I'm with Kaiser. Kaiser, actually, at least my level of insurance, it does cover. It covers acupuncture. Now, there is a very specific process. I have to get referred to an acupuncturist. They also offer a discount program for acupuncture. So if I don't have the patients, which I'm not known for my patients, so I don't have the patients to, in general, go through their referral process in order to get to the referral where my acupuncture appointment is covered. But I'm perfectly willing to use the discount they offer me to go see an acupuncturist. And I am quite sure that there are some, programs, some insurance programs that don't necessarily cover all of the different wellness techniques that somebody might want. But you don't know until you call your insurance company. Is chiropractic covered? Is massage therapy covered? Is a counselor covered? Especially today when so many people are talking about mental health, mental wellness. A lot more of these techniques are covered. Now, are your essential oils covered? Probably not. Your essential oils are going to come out of your discretionary money. Again, why do we talk about the budget in Mind, Body, Spirit Business Budget Planet? Because we want you to be able to afford to pay for these things that are going to help get and keep you healthy, whether or not your conventional insurance covers it. But you can check. And by the way, some of these things are also tax deductible. Not every technique, but some of these techniques are actually tax deductible.
I'll give you some other ideas too, because this is a great conversation. One, you don't know unless you ask. Two, this is the creative divergent brain I have. I just went to a national committee meeting. So I'm on the Developing Opportunities Committee for the National Pharmacy Association. So the 20,000 independent community pharmacies have a voice, and they're really looking for other dispensing opportunities right now. So I'm in a perfect playland to move my profession forward. It's a big part of what I want to do, move them in this direction. Give you a great example. United Healthcare pays for over-the-counter things. Blue Cross Blue Shield in my state a couple years ago put $250 on everybody's card to pay for over-the-counter things. But they didn't tell them they could pay for targeted nutraceuticals. So you can move it, but you got to ask, and then you got to have a guide that sort of understands it. Now, it took us 6 months to get our private label on the list. And there's always the big business fighting against you because CVS and Walgreens already had all their stuff on there before I even knew the thing was there. Great. But we're moving forward, right? The whole concept is momentum. But here's some ideas for the listeners. If you get a prescription, in other words, a provider recommends an over-the-counter, and then you bring it to a pharmacy that knows what they're doing, in other words, a pharmacy that can work with clinical nutrition and holistic care like me, like other functional pharmacies out there, they can write it on a prescription, get it from an order, verbal, run it like a prescription through the system, and then you can use your HSA card for it. So some of these things can be done if you're in, I do this and I can accept HSA for supplements now. I can accept HSA, for things like labs, things that we want to do from those perspectives. So I love how you brought out that possibility for people because it's another avenue. I also want to stress, let's not stop there if it doesn't get covered. Like you said, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to go this direction and I'm going to put some priority into my own well-being before X, Y, and Z. So can we divert some of the things? I always say, can you brew your own organic coffee 3 days a week instead of 5 days a week? Go to Starbucks. Well, you're going to save $5 a pop times 3, $15 a day. Well, now you got $100 in your pocket to divert somewhere else, right? So there's ways that we can do that.
So that is a perfect illustration. So, lots of times people think about, oh, it's expensive, or I don't have the money to pay for this or that. Well, I am drinking more water now, or I'm drinking actually alkaline water now. I don't spend money on the soda I used to spend money on. Mm-hmm. So, I am spending more money over here, but I'm not spending money over there. Because the healthier I get, the healthier I want to be. And so I used to have like a 3 Coke a day habit, 3 full-size cans. I can't even drink a mini 100-calorie can anymore. I'm like, ugh. So there is that progression of first I invest in myself by getting a massage or acupuncture or a Reiki treatment. And then as I get a little healthier, I let go of some of those unhealthy habits. So I'm spending money here and saving money there.
It's about diverting, and I think that's important. And it's also like getting out of our own heads. It says, I can't afford it. Rather saying, well, what can I do? If I could do 1 massage a month, could I do that? Could I change one micro habit? Like you said, take away the soft drinks. I don't know why they call them soft drinks anyway. I haven't drank a soda in a long time, and it's not our fault. Sugar's more addictive than heroin to our brains. So, but the high fructose corn syrup, like it's might as well stick it in your vein, right? It's a process, but it took us a while to get there. And so you could move one thing. And then what I always say is just try it for 4 to 6 weeks, see what happens. That's it. It's not that it didn't work for me. It's like, if that resonates, you move to the next step. It resonates, it organically moves to where it built. This is the building of your journey, right? Everyone has their own journey. And sometimes it just starts with, let me drink water instead of Coca-Cola.
It is a progression. And, also in the world of progressions, exercise, right? We talk about physical movement, but for a lot of people, like, how do I find the time for it? Or, how do I find the motivation to keep it up? So you start simply, maybe you take a walk around the block. Maybe you take a walk for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes, right? Because there's a lot of research and statistics that show that it is the consistent practice, right? It's the consistency that builds the habits. So, don't maybe jump in with, I've got to do an hour today and I'm going to do an hour every day, because that first hour, then all of a sudden you're like, oh, and you don't do it the next day or the next day, but you start with that 5, 10, or 15 minutes, and that you can do, and that you can keep consistently. And so it does become the habit.
Well, it's great. 2 great points in there. Well, one, it's exercise and movement. Even just range of motion in your chair is movement. Sitting is the new smoking. So I kid with my patients, but I tell them, if you're not going to get up and move, you might as well smoke a pack of cigarettes a day, because it's actually, they've done some evidence to show it's actually less healthy for you to just be motionless, because we're in our chairs, we're in virtual. I love what you said though. It's like, for me, two things is start by starting. Don't beat yourself up, but don't overdo, right? We all know what it feels like to go to the gym for the first time. You're sore as hell the next day. You don't want to go up and do it. But for me, I don't like going to the gym, but I like doing yard work and being out in nature. So that's what I do. I play with my girls. I walk my dog. There are things you can do more often. And there's two things that two of my different mentors have told me, and I love you brought them up, but I want to reiterate them, is consistency carves canyons. You know, my mentor, Sachin Patel, said that, like, consistency. So, and then one of my other mentors, when we were talking about me moving into my regular meditation, because I have a regular meditation, I do it just about every day because it's served me so well. I can't, and the science is irrefutable, but this one's always served me so well from my other mentor who taught me this. She's like, you're going to miss a day. So don't set yourself up for failure. It says, if I don't meditate every day, I'm failing. But this one thing happens, and it's really, you make a contract with yourself and you say, if I miss a day, I'm not going to miss 2 in a row. That has served me so well. Like, oh, I might miss one, but I know if I miss one, hell and high water, next day I'm going to do it. And you give that little contract to yourself. Is like, you may not walk around the block every day, but if you miss today, just give yourself a little extra intensity for the next day. Say, you know what? I missed it. I'm good. I'm human. I'm perfectly imperfect, but not tomorrow, Josh. Tomorrow you're going to wake up and you're just going to do it. For some reason, that has helped my own accountability. And then, of course, if you have budget and it really works, we talk about this all the time. Everyone needs accountability partners. Whether you have a buddy or you hire someone, this is why if you pay for personal training, guess what? You show up rather than going to the gym and never showing up, because you know you've paid for it and you got to go. So I love accountability because the 80-20 rule applies here. 20 people can get it done on their own. DIY. 80% of people can get it done with accountability. So accountability is key to these health tricks, tips, hacks, types things. Thank you for bringing those awesome points up collectively, because this is how people get moving, right? So they've got this place they can go, this holistic chamber of commerce. If you're a provider or a consumer, right?
Mm-hmm.
How big is your network at this point? What do people can they expect when they go here?
So our overall network, direct connections, is 50,000 people right now.
Wow.
Now,
Amazing.
About 40,000 of that, 45,000 of that is actually through social media. So when I say direct network, I mean me and you, right? Me and one other person. And so 50,000 direct relationships, but we live in an online world. So my 21,000 connections on LinkedIn, all of them have 100 or more connections, right? Yeah. So when we expand that 50,000 direct connections out to all of their circles of connections, it's just an exponential expansion. It is mostly, it's just gives me, chills. Yay. It's mostly in the US right now, because I'm based in the US. So for me, this healing and this view of the healthcare system as it is today is how do we heal the healthcare system in the U.S.? But we also have members in other countries at this stage of the game, right?
Well, that's a great point. One is the collaborative, right? The collaborative effect. We talked about this. My mission to deprescribe 10 million unnecessary medicines is not going to be from me. But if I influence a few hundred pharmacies even, and they influence a few hundred patients, and those few hundred patients refer you this is the collaborative effect, this collective effect. And yes, there's a big deal right now in what I call there's a burnout in healthcare. And what been talking a lot about this in these podcast episodes too, about mindfulness in medicine and burnout. I'm working on this with pharmacy. Pharmacy is a very big burnout. There's suicidal ideation in medicine as one of the highest. And so we got to heal the healers.
Yes.
This is why I do retreats now for practitioners, is to heal. You got to do you first, right? In this philosophy of wellness. If you're going to be in well care, not sick care, well care and healing, you've got to do your own journey. You can't be on the sidelines prescribing wellness for people and being, 300 pounds overweight and smoking and doing the things like we can't, right? We know this, but it's a new arena for practitioners moving over to this new space. So I'm glad that you brought those two wonderful pieces a part of that. Where do people go to get on the network? Is it multiple avenues?
Yes, there are multiple avenues. Like you could find me, look up Camille Leon on LinkedIn, or look up Holistic Chamber of Commerce on LinkedIn, or Facebook, or Google. But all roads lead to the longest domain name in the world, holisticchamberofcommerce.com. That's it.
Well, so, and you got the .com, so congratulations. We're in the space of where do people go? Obviously, we go to search and then we go, but that's amazing. Is there, if you had to tell people getting started in their own health journey, like from your experience, because I feel like this is the only place we can speak, but besides going there and seeing, because I imagine this is, I can't wait to go on there. I can't wait to see what membership looks like. It's going to be exciting. But if there was one thing you want the listener to know today, what would it be?
It really is start now. Find your one thing and start now. And maybe that one thing is taking a walk around the block. Maybe it is drinking a glass of water. Maybe it is drinking less soda than you did yesterday. But it's find your one thing and start now, start today, and then let it grow. Let it become consistent. Let it grow. But that's one thing.
It's simple, which is what I love, right? I love wellness made simple. What I heard you say as well is take action, right? We can think about drinking soda less, but moving from thinking to doing becomes the next thing. So take action, one thing. What could you do? I have daily dozens, so it's easy for me to just pick one of the daily dozen. Drink more water. This thing is around it's like my buddy. I travel with it all over the world. So I got these stickers. It's like, if you can drink half your weight in ounces in pounds per day. So if you're 150 pounds, drink 75 ounces of water. I just say caffeine and alcohol don't count. Everything else is good. Now let's drink water, not the water in Coca-Cola.
Well, so I got to tell you, that take action, it's another topic for another day.
Yes.
But we have a lot of good intentions. I know a lot of people who visualize. Okay, boys and girls, you've got to take action. I I love your intentions. I love your visualization. It's the action that moves us forward. So join those organizations that will move you forward and move us forward as a society. Support the causes and the communities that you say represent your values and who you are and what you're here for.
I love that. That's a great way to end this beautiful conversation. I don't say end until next time.
Right.
Is an action isn't like some people say take action, like they got to be an advocate and waste all their day to do. For me, if you want to go to the gym, what's the first action point? Put on your gym shoes. You will be surprised what that catalyst does for the next behavior. We really talked about the first thing, right? If you're thinking about drinking less soda, then what's the next step? Ask everybody that yourself, because you're inherently going to know what that is. What is the first micro step you need to take? This is why health coaches are so great, because they can help identify that, but we all know it. Like your beautiful painting back there. What's the first step in getting your painting? Well, buy a canvas and some art supplies. Go to the store, and if you do nothing else that day, you can say, I've gone to the next step. That's what I love about that, what you said. It's sage advice. So thank you, Camille. I love this conversation. I know there will be more. I can't wait to support you on your journey of bringing practitioners and health seekers in alignment, because there's a lot of us. And like I said, the world needs healing. So there's no competition. So thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for what you're doing for the world and for helping healing others.
Thank you.
Stay well. Thanks for joining me today on Beyond the Pills. If our mission to de-prescribe 10 million unnecessary medications resonates with you, share this episode, subscribe, and leave a review. Whether you're a practitioner or someone ready to reclaim your health, visit rx2wellness.com for free resources to begin your journey. Together, let's go beyond the pills and co-create a world of vibrant health and true healing. Until next time, live better and stay well.